This week on ATV News, 2 new presidential portraits are unveiled, Americans are bringing home the gold in the Winter Olympics, and a shooting at a high school in Florida left 17 dead. I'm Savannah McCann. ATV News starts now. On Friday, the Justice Department indicted 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies for committing federal crimes. The special counsel investigation accused the nationals and companies of running a years-long plot to meddle with the 2016 presidential election. The group said that their goal was to spread distrust and conduct, quote, information warfare. One of the men charged was nicknamed Putin's chef because of his close ties to the president. The special counsel leading the investigation did not make any claims that the president or his associates knew about the Russian conspirators. Let's turn to Tenny Oduton for your business report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Tenny Oduton with your business report. The U.S. Department of Justice moved to prevent AT&T Inc. from arguing that politics played a role in the government's decision to stop its merger with Time Warner Inc. AT&T and Time Warner's lawyer, Daniel Petrocelli, cited Trump's repeated criticism of the deal as reason to allow the company to argue that the government opposed the deal for political reasons. The government is seeking records of communications between the White House and the Justice Department that describe Trump's views on the merger. The documents were requested as preparation for the March 19th trial in which Judge Richard Leon will decide if the $85 billion deal would raise prices. The Justice Department sued to stop the deal, claiming it is illegal under antitrust law. The government has asked Judge Leon to rule that AT&T cannot cite politics, formerly known as selective enforcement, as a defense to quash a request from the documents to support that defense. The deal has been followed more closely than most antitrust matters because Trump attacked it while on the campaign trail in 2016. In other news, the S&P 500 stock rose marginally on Friday to mark its biggest weekly increase in 5 years. However, earlier gains evaporated after the indictment of Russians for meddling into the 2016 presidential elections sent investors into defensive mode before the long weekend. A market correction sparked by inflation concerns earlier in February raised fears that a 9-year bull market has ended. But data on consumer prices and retail sales this week left investors less worried, returning the stock market to its upward trajectory. Investors snapped up shares of Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, and Pfizer, all up more than 1.4% and supporting the S&P 500 stock more than any other stocks. A strong 4-year quarter reporting season and deep corporate tax cuts introduced this year have led analysts to increase their estimates for 2018 S&P 500 earnings, growth to 19% from 12% in early January. For ATV News, I'm Tenny Oduton.
Thanks, Tenny. The stock market has been up and down these past 2 weeks, so we're going to have to see how it behaves after the long weekend. Let's turn to Alexander Reese with your politics report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Alexander Reese with your Politics Report. It is with a heavy heart that I must report that Nicholas Cruz arrived at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on Wednesday and used an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle in a shooting that killed 17 people. Cruz has since confessed. President Donald Trump addressed the nation stating, quote, "No child, no teacher should ever be in danger in an American school. No parent should ever have to fear for their son and daughters when they kiss them goodbye in the morning. Each person who was stolen from us yesterday had a full life ahead of them, a life filled with wondrous beauty and unlimited potential and promise," end quote. Trump also announced plans to visit the high school and to push for action on mental health issues and school security. Following this tragic incident, much debate has arisen about why this violence continues to happen in our society, such as lack of gun control measures, a population increasingly dependent on psychotropic drugs, and/or a culture glamorizing violence in music, Hollywood, and video games. Hopefully we can come together and our leaders can produce a measure that improves our country as a whole. On Thursday, February 15th, Democrats and 14 Republican senators blocked Senator Grassley's immigration reform agenda, leaving many dreamers in limbo as to what lies in their fate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Kentucky Republican, said while on the Senate floor, quote, "I think it's safe to say this has been a disappointing week," end of quote. Following an electrifying Golden Globe speech by Oprah Winfrey that caused many to think of her as a potential presidential candidate for 2020, Oprah said in an interview with 60 Minutes that she would not run. She said, quote, "Because if God actually wanted me to run, wouldn't God kind of tell me? And I haven't heard that," end quote. We shall see if she changes her mind. For ATV News, I'm Alexander Reese.
Thanks, Alexander. It's going to be interesting to see if Oprah decides to change her mind and run for president. I can only imagine the type of election season we would see if she was in the running. The National Portrait Gallery unveiled 2 new presidential portraits this week. Barack and Michelle Obama's portraits are now on display in the Smithsonian-operated museum with all previous presidential portraits. The portraits are unique because they are the first presidential portraits created by Black artists. At the unveiling, Mrs. Obama said, quote, "I am humbled, I am honored, I am proud, but most of all, I am so incredibly grateful to all the people who came before me in this journey," end quote. Let's turn to Shekinah Collier with your entertainment report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Shekinah Collier with their entertainment report. Do you like to sing? Alpha Epsilon Phi is hosting a lip sync battle this Tuesday in the McDowell Formal Lounge to raise money for pediatric AIDS. Compete with your friends or come watch and support the cause. It costs $5 per person to sing and $1 per person to watch. AU Recreational Sports and Fitness and American University Student Activities are hosting AU's first Veg Out Happy Hour. Come to the McDowell Formal Lounge on February 21st from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. to enjoy free juices and RX bars while watching a vegetarian food demonstration. Join the AU Chamber Singers and the AU Chamber Orchestra for their collaborative concerts on February 24th at 7:30 p.m. and February 25th at 3 p.m. in the Katzen Art Center. The groups are performing modern music from the 20th and 21st centuries. Tickets cost $5 for the AU community and $10 for the general public. You can purchase your tickets in advance at auartstix.universitytickets.com. For ATV News, I'm Shekinah Collier.
Thanks, Shekinah. No one wants to hear my singing voice, so I'm pretty excited about this upcoming lip sync battle hosted by AEFI. Let's turn to Nadia Slocum with your sports report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Nadia Slocum with your sports report. The Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea are fully underway as athletes from nations all over the world are competing for the gold. The American Olympics team has had their fair share of wins this week, starting on Sunday with 24-year-old female figure skater Mirai Nagasu, who not only landed the American team a bronze medal for the category, but who also set her own record. Nagasu became the first American woman to land a triple axel in Olympics history. Continuing the winning streak is 17-year-old Chloe Kim. Kim exceeded expectations on Monday after winning the gold medal in the snowboarding division. Kim scored a whopping 93.75 in her third run. She also made history as the first American athlete to land consecutive 1080s in the halfpipe, while still maintaining her score of a 98.25. In other words, she's acing it. And if you weren't excited enough about the games, then you surely will be now. 31-year-old snowboarder Shaun White won his third Olympic gold medal Wednesday. White's victory is a historic one for Team USA, making it the country's 100th gold win at the Winter Olympics. And finally, we have 22-year-old skier Michaela Schifrin, who has had quite a trying week. After much anxiety and brutal cold temperatures, Schifrin won a gold medal in the first run of the games on Thursday. Schifrin already earned herself 4 straight top slalom titles, something that no other skier has ever done. No other skier in Olympics history has ever won more than 3. Unfortunately, the victory didn't last for long. Schifrin went on to place 4th in her race on Friday, allowing Sweden to win the gold, Switzerland the silver, and Austria the bronze. This week in sports is filled with more events, more suspense, and hopefully more wins, as Team USA takes on the Olympics this week. For ATV News, I'm Nadia Slocum.
Thanks, Nadia. I'm so excited about the Olympics, and my favorite sport's ice hockey, but I am sad I won't be able to see any NHL players repping the USA or any Canada jerseys this year. A red-tailed hawk has made its home on top of the National Cathedral. The cathedral took to Twitter to ask for the public's input on naming its new guest. The poll includes names such as Deacon, Gloria, and Bishop. Let's turn to John Mousseau for your science report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm John Mousseau with your science report. Following the successful launch of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy this past Tuesday, the prospect of a manned expedition to Mars has received renewed attention from the media and the public. At present, Falcon Heavy produces approximately 5 million pounds of thrust at liftoff and is capable of carrying a 140,000-pound payload to orbit. This capacity is enhanced by the unique ability of its two side boosters to return to Earth after launch, reducing launch costs by 21% in the most optimistic estimates. However, these impressive specifications still amount to a travel time lasting anywhere from 128 to 333 days, forcing scientists and financiers to confront the logistical dilemma of continually supplying a Martian colony. In an effort to reduce both cost and travel time, NASA scientists have proposed an alternative power source known as photonic propulsion, capturing momentum produced by particles of light in a reflective sail configuration, which aims to reduce the duration of the Martian trip to a mere 3 days. For ATV News, I'm John Mousseau.
Thanks, John. I'm excited to see what other new technology Elon Musk will come out with and exploring more of space. Let's turn to Margot Wright for your World News Report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Margot Wright with your World News Report. South Africa has a new president. Cyril Ramaphosa became South Africa's new president on Thursday after former President Jacob Zuma resigned amid years' worth of corruption allegations. Ramaphosa, who has served as the head of the African National Congress since December, was the only candidate nominated for the presidency by South Africa's National Assembly. While giving a speech to South Africa's parliament, Ramaphosa said, quote, "I truly feel humbled to have been given this great privilege of being able to serve our people," end quote. A Turkish court sentenced 6 journalists and other media professionals to life in prison on Friday for alleged ties to cleric Fethullah Gulen, whose network was responsible for a failed coup attempt in July 2016. Europe Director for Amnesty International said, quote, "This is a dark day for press freedom and for justice in Turkey, and sets a chilling precedent for scores of journalists facing trials on similar trumped-up terrorism charges," end quote. For ATV News, I'm Margot Wright.
Thanks, Margot. As a journalism student, it is really scary to see what's going on in Turkey with their journalists and what is happening with press freedom all around the world. 13 people were killed in a helicopter crash in southern Mexico. The helicopter crashed while trying to land in an open field. Officials surveyed the damage after a powerful 7.2 magnitude earthquake rocked Mexico City the day before. Mexico's President Nieto said that there were no reports that the crash was directly linked to the quake or the aftershock. Let's turn to Alexandra Sherritt with your Lifestyle Report.
Thanks, Savannah. I'm Alexandra Sherritt with your Lifestyle Report. The 2018 Founders Day Ball is taking place on Saturday, March 3rd at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. This year's annual ball will celebrate the 125th anniversary of the founding of American University. There will be complimentary food and drinks at the ball, as well as free coach bus transportation to and from the event. Ticket sales ended on February 16th, so if you have not gotten a ticket, you will have to sign up for the wait list. If you were able to get a ticket, get ready to enjoy an evening of sober dance and fun. On Saturday, February 24th, there will be a dance masterclass in the Katzen Dance Studio with guest artist Charles O. Anderson. Anderson specializes in the Afro-contemporary fusion style of dance. This event is a free and open opportunity for all students and faculty. The class is from noon to 2, and you can register at the door around 11:30. For ATV News, I'm Alexandra Sherritt.
Thanks, Alexandra. I got my Founders Day ticket, I have my Founders Day dress, and I am so excited to dance the night away. For ATV News, I'm Savannah McCann. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. See you next week.